All right, we're going to go through the stored procedures really quick. We have add employee. This stored procedure creates a new employee without any designated warehouse worker or driver role. If they're not a new user, an employee of the delivery service cannot already be a contractor. First, you check if the user is already a contractor. If they are, an error message is returned. Then you inherit the designated information into both the system user table and the employee table. For number 2, we have add contractor, where we're going to add a new contractor to the system with their company name. If they are not a new user, they cannot already be an employee of the delivery service. First, we check if the contractor is already an employee of the delivery service. If they are, then we return an error. Otherwise, we add the information to assist user and contractor tables. For number 3, we have add warehouse worker to the database, tagging them with the ID of the warehouse worker they work at. If they're not a user, they cannot already be an employee of the delivery service. First, we check to see if the user is already an employee, and if they are, the code returns an error. Since we already checked if they're an employee, we must check if the person's being added as a new user. For a non-user, we must add it to the warehouse worker table and the employee table. If they are a new user, must add it to the assist user, employee, and warehouse workers table. For number 4, we have add driver. And here we're going to register a new driver in the system with their experience and years if specified. If they're not a user, they cannot already be an employee of the delivery service. First, we're going to check to see if the user is already an employee or contractor for the delivery service. If they are, then the code returns an error. Now we do the same thing as adding a warehouse worker, only this time for a driver. Since we already checked if the new driver is an employee, we must check if the person being added is a new driver. For a non-new user, we must add the driver table to the employee table. If they are a new user, we must add the assist user, employee, and driver tables. To insert into the driver's tables, we must account for whether the experience is given or not. And if it's a null, we must make the experience level 0. Here we have 5, the fire driver. This is going to fire the driver who currently works the delivery service. The only restrictions, the driver must not actively be controlling a truck. First, check if the driver is controlling a truck. If they are, the code returns an error. Otherwise, they are deleted. Here we have register packer. Register an existing user into the database. Given their username and shift details, all packers must be existing. Warehouse workers or contractors. Users that are already registered as packers can't be registered again. First, check if the user is already registered as packer. If there is an error returned, next, check the user is a warehouse worker. If they're not, then the code checks if they're a contractor. If they're not a warehouse worker and they're not a contractor, the code adds the person to the packer table and updates the information in the contract table if necessary. If they're neither a warehouse worker nor a contractor, the code returns an error. If they're a worker, then the code adds into the packer table and updates the worker table if necessary. That's that one. Here we have add customer. This is going to just add a new customer given their username and contract information. Alternatively, it can also be used to add an existing customer to the table. First, we're going to check if the person's already a user. If they're not, we're going to add them, and then we're going to add them to the customer table. If they're a user, we're just going to add them to the customer table. I'm going to go through the views scripts just because we're running low on time for video. So here we have the view script where route summary is going to be the first view and it's going to give the summary of each route. And we had to count the legs and the IDs for group concat from multiple lines in order of the sequences. We use 2 joins and 1 left join grouped by a route ID. For the package distance, view 2, we're going to display the distance between the source and the destination warehouse for every package in the delivery system. It excludes packages that have been assigned. In SQL, we use the join function and join it on p.source at warehouse.l.depart and p.dest and l.arrive. And we also made truck ID not null by saying where truck ID is not null. And the last view, we're going to populate legs. We're going to display the legs that are shared by more than one route in order to follow administrators to find congested portions of the route. In SQL, we use group concat to list multiple routes and join by having more than one leg ID. So we're going to go ahead and stop it right there for now, unfortunately. That's, yep, gonna have to